How are you doing, everyone? Welcome back to the Potty Mouth Garden Show. Yes, unfortunately, Jess can't be here today. She's busy. But I have Audrey. We have him as well. He's back as well. JB's back as well. So, yeah. Audrey, how are you doing?
I'm doing really good this morning. Thank you.
Good. Lovely. Well, it's lovely to have you on. We'll get some good gardening chat going soon. And JB, welcome back.
Thank you very much.
Unpaid
Nice to be
leave, that
back.
was all right, long as I didn't have to, hand over the cash for an absentee. Do you have a nice time off?
Very good. Very busy. But
was it a holiday or
good.
was it kind of work related or something hideous like that?
No, it was. So we had 2 weeks off holiday, which was amazing. But we had a lot of DIY to do. We did pop down to Cornwall for a long weekend, which was lovely and very restful. But then as soon as we got back from Cornwall, it was DIY, and that plus allotment has kept me very busy. But very good.
You know when you're off work, JB, are you off work or does work sometimes pester you still? Can you completely shut off? No, that phone's off, isn't it?
I did a little bit while I was on leave, and I had an angry message from my manager. He said, "Don't go to work when you're on leave." Which is very good, isn't it? That's how it should be. So,
exactly.
Quite lucky.
Well, it's lovely to have you back. So. Well, JB, I'll start with you then. I did see a picture on our little kind of WhatsApp feed where you've been, and it's not like you to spend money at garden centres. You've been buying plants as well. So, what I love, I think it's not that you don't need them. It's just you cannot help yourself, and I'm sure you've kind of fell into that trap where you're thinking, well, mine aren't going to get like that. You know what I mean? I might as well. What's £3?
I used to be so resistant to it. Like, I could go in a garden centre, an hour later come out having not spent a penny. Now, I don't know, I'm way more liberal. Seeds I know I've probably already got, but they look a bit nice. Oh, they go in the basket. I picked up a pumpkin. Saw a pumpkin for like a couple of quid. I was like, oh, I'll have that. And I got loads and loads of bedding plants for the garden. Because we've been spending loads more time just in the back garden this year. It's all really come together really nicely. So I couldn't resist it, seeing all the little bedding plants.
In a rough estimate, how much did the young JB spend on that trip to the garden centre? How much did you hand over?
Well, it was actually quite cheap, right? They were doing bedding plants. You get 9 or 12 in a pack, pretty good size. They were like £3 for a whole pack.
All right.
So I only spent about 25 quid on flowers and plants, but I did buy silver grow as well. So
did you?
It was a little bit more. Yes, I still like silver grow. I'm still
Did you check I got a message off on Discord, John, from one who went, who actually went to the Charles Dowden teaching course.
Yes, I saw that.
Kind of spoke to Charlie Dowden about it, But I think they got back in touch with him, JB, and they said, look on you're almost like a sell by or made by date. Now, mine was made in, I think, if I remember, I took a photograph, May 2023. Do you know what yours is? It would be nice to find out what because you had no problems with germination. So it would be nice to find out what yours was, or even what this new stuff is.
I did have a couple of germination problems, but I've tried the same seeds in different compost, and it was just the seeds. But I was using a lot of like quite old seeds, and a lot of people were sort of saying maybe it's your compost, and no, I think most of they do say try and use it within 6 months of making at least, and I think one of the issues.
Sure, that's not right though. That's not, because if they're saying that, I'm not just saying Silver Grow, I want about any company. There should be a best before date. Simple as put that on, and then that's covered.
I think Silver Grow was saying they're one of the only companies that actually put the date of the batches on, because they want to make sure. And when we went to the factory tour, a guy that was giving us a tour said that he was at a garden centre once, and the stuff they were selling was like 1.5 years old. So he asked to speak to the manager and gave him a bollocking. He was like, "You shouldn't be selling that after 6 months."
Yeah, but that's in another way, or devil's advocate here. Do you know what I mean? I'm guessing you don't get a sale in return. You can't, as a nursery, send that back to.
Yeah, they should just reduce it, I guess. Sell it at a third off or something like that. They said it's still fine to use, but a lot of the the organic life and activity in there will have completely diminished. And the other thing is the fertilizer that they use. I recently learned that Osmocote. I was talking to Ian from Grow Local about it, and he said the thing that activates that fertilizer is if it gets wet. So if the compost has been stored outdoors, and we've had a particularly wet winter, and garden centres aren't keeping it in the plastic, or they're not storing it kind of undercover, then there's a good chance that actually a lot of that fertilizer might be running out, which might have explained a few people's issues. But yeah, I'm still using it, and I've got a compost trial that I've started, which is very interesting already. I haven't done a video on it yet. I've been recording a video, and when it's finished, I'm going to do like start and finish of the tests sort of thing. And I've got 4 or 5 different
lift the lid on everything.
I should have got some peat-based compost to do a full trial with and compared that.
Well, to be honest, JB, though, it's cheating.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. It's
I'd
basically
like to see
cheating
it for myself.
Yeah, do you know what I mean?
But like Jesse was saying last week, most garden centres don't stock it anymore, so you've got to know someone.
Well, do you know what it is? Do you know what it is? Sorry, Audrey, I'm going to come, yes, because I get now, because I get quite a few, and I just got one last week. Tony, there's another little garden centre down from you on the left. They've still don't tell anyone yet, because there's still some bags left, and I'm going back for some more. So I get little messages now of hints of where the peat is.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? It's only part of the job. You know what I mean? Audrey, what's been going on in your world? I can see straight away them lights are on. Them lights are going to be on.
Well, actually, they're on because my timer is still on, but there's nothing in there. Everything's outside.
Oh my God, right.
I know, everything is outside. So hours and hours and hours and hours of planting to do.
Or do you mean the stuff that's outside to get planted?
Yes.
Right.
Unfortunately, it doesn't, no little fairy just comes and does it, right?
Be nice if they did.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it? Gosh, right now particularly, I have 2 of those tables that you had up in your polytunnel. I've got 2 of those full, and my 10-foot dining table on the deck full. So it's going to be a minute before all that gets tucked away.
But it's a weird thing, Audrey. You know what I mean? Because you're kind of, when we start off, we just love sowing. And then it just becomes where you're thinking, right, well, that needs to go out now. You know what I mean? And then you turn around and do something. They need to go. And it just all of a sudden, and when it's done, mind you.
Yeah.
You're just, like I say, I cleared my polytunnels, so it's just empty. There's no and that's it. Now,
no, it looks great. It looks great, but boy, mine does not look like that. So
how many days are we talking, do you think, then?
I bet it'll be 2 weeks probably before I get it all in.
Right.
Because then I still have to figure out places for some of it. I think I may have,
Have you grown celeriac this year, Audrey?
Yes.
Right, because mine at the moment is looking all right. I haven't.
Yeah, and it looks like poo. So I bought some at the garden center. I said, no, I will have some. Doggone it. So yeah, I bought a whole set, and they look beautiful.
Nice.
So yeah.
Because I always was told off Steve, Audrey, that it's got to be, just keep them damp, keep them moist. Now, I'm guessing in Detroit now, that's going to be a hard task, is it? Or you've got
today is going to be hot.
Right.
Like almost 90.
You've got your watering system, haven't you?
Yes, I do. And matter of fact, it's all watering as we speak right now.
Nice.
I'm working really hard out there watering my garden.
Well, I could actually jump to JB, because I like did you put in the chat about this little sneaky water, and it was cheap as chips, a little solar.
It was cheap as chips. It was so cheap I bought 2. They arrived today. So I'm going to go and have a little look. But yeah, for anyone who just missed that, I found on Amazon, it was actually a recommendation from one of my patrons.
Thank God this is going out a few hours earlier, later, so I can nip to Amazon there and get one, because... Great idea.
There's loads. I can't remember the brand name. It was one of those things where, honestly, the brand name was like a unrecognizable jumble of letters. So I think there's probably like 100 different retailers selling the same thing, but it was about 25 quid. Little circular solar pump that you can just hang on your water butt basically outside. Little line that goes into your water butt, and then another line that you can feed in. I'm going to use one in the polytunnel. That was my main thinking. I'd like to get a water butt that I could fill up, and then when the tomatoes are eventually all over one side of the tunnel, I can just have it automated irrigation. So if I can't get down there for a day or two. So there's no quads
for the tomatoes, is there not?
No, so this year I've got one quad grow with just the chili peppers, and there's a quad grow in the shed that I think I might do some tomatoes just in the back garden. But no, auto pots and quad grows this year are for the chilies, and all the tomatoes are just going to go in the ground. They'll be all right.
Right, all right.
They'll be all right. So... But yeah, hopefully the irrigation system works. Hopefully it works quite nicely.
How big? Do you know how big physically the pump is, or is it like when you unbox it, does it become like this tiny little thing? You know what I mean? Like
I think it's.
Is it?
I think it's relatively chunky.
Right.
I'm not sure. We'll find out.
Right.
I don't. I'm a little bit apprehensive, when it's only like 20 quid. I know that there's another company called I think it's Rainpoint.
Yes.
And they have a much pricier one, but it's probably a little bit more do you probably get a guarantee with it.
Do you not think it's like them, the likes of Rainpoint that do it first, and then it's just open season for anybody, you know?
Yeah.
I have a couple of those Rainpoint ones, and they're very nice.
Yeah. I looked at them originally, but it was only for kind of like mains tap pressure. I think it didn't have like an off-grid thing, which is... What I like about this is it just seems like there's a built-in controller unit in the pump that you can set the time on. It's solar powered. You just walk away and leave it.
Yeah, I don't think they have that kind of pump.
So, fingers crossed.
Do you think we're getting all a little bit, because we all do garden, YouTube and everything like that, but we all seem to want to go down the route of less work, less getting work, just the end. I'm going to say the enjoyment of gardening, because I can now leave mine at this moment, 2 weeks probably, good 10 days. I can, leave it. So you're with your automatic pump, and Audrey with her automatic pumps as well, and we could just shut shop.
The problem is, though, all the stuff that's not in the ground, that's got to be hand watered.
Yeah,
and they're in those little teeny weeny cells, so they dry up as soon as you look at them. So, I'm a little concerned for all of that outside today.
Well, it's going to be. So, have you got the little cells and bigger trays that you can bottle, soak and leave with at least some water in order? Have you?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, but again, it's going to be 90 today, which I think is 30 for you all. So they're just going to be little sizzle and fried. So they'll probably need to get watered twice today.
Right.
Just to keep them, to keep them happy.
So on a scale, Audrey, of, say, your best to your worst, which will you sacrifice first? You know what I mean? If you're watering and you're thinking, God damn it, I'm good. Is that the wrong word to say? Because JB got pulled up, right? Oh, sorry, everyone.
I would have a hard time.
You must know which one's your best plant then.
Well, that's not always the winner to me. It's like, what do I want the most of?
Well, which ones you want the most of then? Which one would you...
Would I not sacrifice? Probably this year flowers. It's a whole lot easier to go buy fruit at the grocery store. Or not fruit, but...
Audrey Brennan, how could you?
But I'm not doing either. I'm not going to do either one. You're going to make an impossible choice.
Which child you going to save? Yeah,
I know. I keep feeling like Sophie's Choice every time I'm on this. I'm like, don't ask.
No, but GB, I like that because we've got some tomatoes outside now down here, which the whole point of doing the quad grows was to kind of go away. But all of a sudden, because my wife's seen all the spares. Well, I could do some, Let me. So we've ended up buying these like trog looking things which are on feet, so they're all planted up. And
what kind of? There's a few of those truggy type things. Which one did you get?
They were £50 each from Home Base.
I've seen them.
And to be honest, I'm chuffed to bits with them because when they came, mind you, they've all been just built with kind of nail guns. So every plank of wood was a little bit wobbly. Even the legs were but I just, I've got a whole array of screws. So I just kind of screwed every bit of wood and they're rock solid. I put a membrane inside and it's coated, it stains. So we've got tomatoes there. So I'm going to have to get, when we do go away now and again, get the daughter's partner Aiden to come down even here because I had the promise of them said you don't have to go to the polytunnel. It's all looking after, it's all taking care of itself.
Yeah, nice. My thing with the irrigation in the polytunnel is that just recently, over the past kind of week, I've experienced heat in the polytunnel like I've not experienced before. Because both my greenhouses, they get hot, but it's small. So it's not this, and you've got the auto vents, you've got a bit of ventilation. It's not the same. It's not the same. The polytunnel heat scared me a little bit. I was trying to be a tomato surviving in here. It's just both doors open. So it does get a decent amount of airflow. But yeah, I think having really good irrigation will also help the humidity in there, which apparently is really important for a lot of plant survival in the tunnel.
It gets to the point, JB, where it's probably, I could do it probably now, where I leave one door open all the time, and then it'll get to, say, June, first week, second week in June, where I'll leave both doors 24/7 open. It's just, it just gets weird, because it's even, if you had them shut, you've got to get up now, silly, and go to bed, It's just, if you shut them at 7 o'clock at night, it's still too hot. So, and doing that, I've never had a problem. It never gets too cold.
You don't get critters in there at night?
Nah, that's what I'm worried about, yeah.
No. I might have had the odd cat shit on the floor, I think, once, maybe, or something like that.
I know. Nothing... As soon as I leave those doors open overnight, the foxes are going to be in there.
Yeah.
So I'll probably do what I did with the greenhouses last year and just staple some chicken wire across the bottom. If they really want to jump over it, they will, but hopefully they don't. Or I might just modify the door frames and take the plastic out and put chicken wire in or something like that.
Well, yeah, chicken wire. But I do see people putting the Enviro mesh down. It just doesn't seem to let enough draft through for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I used to, in my old polytunnel, mind you, it was that ripped and torn. I did shut the doors because there was whole vents along the side with split polythene. It didn't matter. You know what I mean? And I didn't realize that at the time. Do you know what I mean? I just was thinking I should eventually get this reskinned. But then, it's all right. It's actually a benefit having it all. And we've got foxes, but I haven't seen the one in here. The only thing I see is the odd cat or pigeons. That's our... And certainly no squirrels.
Foxes on my plot are just they're basically as tame as dogs. They really are. They quite often in my videos, I'll be filming and one will just run along next to me. They're out in the middle of the day. They're just kind of playing around. They have no, they're just built a bit different, foxes. Well, and they do love to get in that polytunnel and scratch up.
You were taking videos of the cubs one. Was that you?
Oh, yeah, that's next door. Yeah. It's really cute.
Very cute.
Because we've seen what they've done to your tunnel. What would they do to your veg then, JB? Have you had...
They just love a dig. So, if you've got something young or if you've anything I direct sow, it quite often gets dug up. I did a few lines of radish and lettuce the other day and it just completely dug up. I don't think they're digging for that. It's just that they find something or they smell something there that they like. And it just happened to be smack bang in the middle of your row. So for the onion and the carrot bed, because that was one that I did want to keep quite nice. Because I got the raised bed, it was quite easy to just chuck some mesh over the top, some weld mesh. So that's kept the foxes off. You can't be too precious. I can't mesh and net every single bed. It'd drive me crazy.
But I've got to net every bed. If I put a brassica in there,
yeah.
You know what I mean? You've just got to do that. What I'm finding, mind, I don't know what yours like over there, but slugs and snails this year seem to be in force. Do you know what I mean? That first couple of months of wets just seemed to have, and it's ground so wet. Because I've got that straw on the top, which seems to stop the weeds and everything, but the ground underneath lovely and damp and moist. So I don't know if they're in the ground already, happy as, you know what I mean, just quite happy. But I put some lettuce out the other day. There's not a single bit left. Do you know what I mean? There's not a single bit left there. And you can see even when I go up, you know what I mean? That they're just there. They're just boulders brazen on the beds, and I'm picking them off and, standing on them.
Yeah.
Yeah, you need to get the nematodes out again.
No slugs here, no snails. I saw you picking those snails off, and I thought that would be horrible to come out and see that. I do not.
That.
I've never seen a snail in my yard. Never.
Wow.
But we don't get rain like you do.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, lately, every time I turn on a YouTube video, it's raining. I'm back in the polytunnel. I'm in the jet. I'm hiding. It's raining again. And I think we kind of beg for rain at this point. Like, there's like a 30% chance it's going to rain later today. And I'm like, come on, some rain, please.
When is it like tropical over there, Audrey, when it rains? Is it downpours, or is it just like it just
depends which way the wind's blowing. One day it's like, trickle, trickle, trickle. And then it's, oh my gosh, the heavens opened and every bit of rain's coming down. So it really just depends. But yeah, not a whole lot of rain right now.
JB, then, would you rather have Audrey's climate or your climate?
I think ours. Yeah, I think ours. I think, we love to moan about the weather, don't we? But anytime I hear about Audrey's
everybody moans about the weather. If you're a gardener, you moan about the weather, right? That's just part of it.
I do prefer ours. I mean, we've got it lucky in so many ways. I know our springs are getting a little more, they're on or they're off. But, we get that mild period. We can start stuff so much earlier. We can carry stuff quite late as well a lot of the time.
You can almost garden year round.
Yeah.
Like the little protection I need just to keep it hanging on for a little bit, that'll get you guys through the entire winter.
Yeah. It's kind of December to February are the most challenging ones, right? But outside of that, you can pretty much have just about anything growing, right? And if you're really skilled, you can get plenty growing through December as well. But I've not got there yet.
No, I know, but
sometimes don't you think it's nice to have a break?
Yeah.
Too,
yeah,
like there's something mentally good about that. So you look forward to the next season. Otherwise, I feel like you'd kind of be like you work for the garden.
Yes.
Yeah. And it dictates.
That's a good point, Audrey, because what I was going to say there is, like, you look at Charlie Dowden's videos when he's doing these winter ones, and his salad's all pristine looking almost, going right through the winter. And yes, he's only taking off the odd leaf. And I would like to achieve that. And I'm looking forward to maybe trying it with a couple of auto pots, but I've found one Achilles heel with that. And I haven't got auto pots with the quad grows, is I definitely want to do it, but it's a lot of money in compost for a couple of lettuces. Do you know what I mean? But I would love to see what lettuces do, like in them quad grows, so.
But he also sells it.
Yes. You know what I mean? Hey, listen, if anyone's out there wants to buy a knackered up looking lettuce in December, I'm your kiddie, come and I'll sell you one. You might not eat it.
But I think the fact that he also does it for market is a little different. Like he kind of has to do it.
Right? He kind of take the foot off the. I think, Audrey, you've made a great point there. It's almost like a recharge the batteries.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I need the break, so I'm kind of happy that we have this horrible winter. So I really can't do much because it's a nice break.
And it's almost with us with the videos, it's a nice kind of you don't have to, because basically every job I do, I'll try and film, where it does become a little taxing. Do you know what I mean? And a little kind of awkward if we're, out and about and stuff like that. So it's nice just to run up. Today, I just ran up today. I filled me quads. I filled the whole lot. And I've fed them with I wasn't going to, but it was Ian taught us round with the A and B, JB off the quad grows.
Your abacus out and your blackboard for all your calculations.
Well, it was my son. Who's done a degree in mathematically, whatever, aerospace, you know what I mean? I physically had to say, read, right. I says, and I'm hoping I've got it right, because I says, read, it's 30 litres. Just tell us what to pour in. That 30 litres, I think, is for 2 units.
Yes.
Don't go no, JB, because
I think so. Yeah,
because I will go back to just what you call a CalMag and a pipette. That's the way I work. But Ian, growing local, was saying, man, he says the best stuff in the world is, the A and B that comes with.
It's good. It's very good.
Yes, to be honest, it comes with it, so I might as well use it. But one thing, I've got loads of them, JB. I've used all of one pack to A and B in one feed.
I can believe that.
That's going down a lot quicker than what I thought. You know what I mean? So,
how many packs of fertilizer did you get?
What?
How many packets of the A and B did you get?
Well, I don't know. I've got probably about 8, 10. So there's quite a few of them. Do you know what I mean? It's taken up, and I wasn't going to use, like I say, it's just way easier. But I've got my calculations. My son's given us me measurements. He actually mixed it all, measured it, because you A, got to pour in, then B, then I've got to split it again into each container, even though they're connected, I still split it again. Then, you see, it was finished. I says, Reed, mixes up another batch. Because if you're not here, mixes up another batch there. So we'll see if I stick with it, but by all accounts, it's supposed to be nice stuff. So
yeah, it's very good. It is very, very good. It's just a faff. Any of the hydroponic A and B stuff is a little bit faffy.
Well, what was the we used to do it, even Steve got into it, doing where we had to, it was a whole load of different things, you know what I mean?
That was making me crazy just watching you guys do that.
Master
I thought, oh my word, that is crazy.
Master blend.
Yeah, and I remember, didn't Steve buy a huge bag of it? Do you know what I mean? Cost a fortune, absolute fortune as well. Do you know what I mean? I was like, and he was quite happy doing it, mind you. Do you know what I mean? And he even bought. Didn't he buy a blue?
Yeah, that blue wand.
Blue wand, like for
A lot of that stuff is for hydroponics. Where you've got to get it absolutely perfect. Soil is so much more forgiving. It's one of the reasons I really like doing chili peppers in soil and in pots. In compost, because like if your pH is slightly off, or your tap water's a little bit acidic or base or whatever, or your fertilizer's not quite right, soil just kind of like levels off all of the spikes, because it just kind of buffers it all. It makes life much easier. So it's similar if you're doing tomatoes in the ground,
Yeah, but is it not with the quads and the autos, JB, that soil just becomes like
it's much more important with the quads. You still get a bit of buffering, but towards the end of the season, most of that compost will have been, the tomatoes will have taken everything they possibly can from it. And you'll see their roots. You've used them before, haven't you? But their roots go right down into the reservoir.
Yes.
It becomes almost a cracky kind of hydroponic system by itself.
Mm-hmm.
They are cool, though. They're cool.
Audrey, are you feeding your tomatoes, or is it just like the good old Detroit?
Well, at the moment I'm not, because they're still in their little containers. But I will be once they're out. Once they're planted out, they'll get fed. The ones that are in pots, I give a real CalMag to them because I don't want blossom end rot. But I got this new fertilizer thing that I'm going to try from a new company that I haven't used before. And it's, gosh, I should have brought that in here. Next week, I will talk all about that. But it's a 2-step, like a 2-part thing. And I'm kind of looking forward to it.
Sounds a faff.
No, it's just 2 parts. It's all in a gallon. It's all measured to a gallon of water, which for me, okay, let's go.
See, that's the secret, though, Audrey, for easiness, and where it's not with the quads, because yes, it's all geared to like a gallon. Was it how many 2 gallon
or whatever you guys? Yeah,
you know what I mean. But we're putting them in, and I'm sure there must be some bit of literature where it says it's 30 litres for these 2. But because you buy them in sets of 4, do you know what I mean? It all becomes a little bit, well, wait on, how many litres? How many is this? And it just gets a little bit kind of, and I get lazy with the, and I just think, I'll just squirt a bit of CalMag in. Do you know what I mean? And I think maybe 2 years ago or 3 years, that's all I used was CalMag. And I think a little bit of the tomato potassium. Anyone seen that little box, Chemex? I forget what it's called. There's still a bit in there, in the polytunnel line.
Yeah, I've never gotten blossom end rot until I put tomatoes in a container. And the first round of tomatoes all had it, and I'd never had it before. So I had to come up to speed real quick on how to knock that off.
Right. I mean, this is the first year with me with the fully quads. You know, I did grow in the duo system, cucumbers and the tomato, I think, but I'm all in.
Well, you've gone all in on this one.
It really is all in. Yeah, it's remarkable.
Yeah. Except those few outside. That's the only ones that are fending for themselves.
Didn't I get... Now, I don't know if it is or not, but I thought I've discovered a little bit of blight on potatoes, early blight. And then everyone in the comments, Tony, where you walking? Get out of the polytunnel. Do you know what I mean? It was like... But I've had a lot of people say, no, I think it's... I didn't know that there's a thing called just brown spot on potatoes. I'm not 100% sure. So anyway, I've picked them potatoes, which are lovely potatoes. So I'm quite happy with that. I've wrapped them up. I've actually put them in the bin, in our wheelie bins out here. So my biggest worry, though, is I only kind of took them out of the polytunnel 2 days, like a couple of days before I noticed. So that means this brown, if it is early blight, has been in the polytunnel. And it's like, oh, for God's sake. That'll just be, a great video. You know what I mean? You've got to think. There's always, like, no! Get a thumbnail, love. Get a thumbnail, love. No! You know what I mean? Put some chili powder in my eyes so I'm crying.
Good thing you have a couple at home then.
I know, that's exactly, Audrey. Like them, I've got them outside and I've got them, them here. And I've got... Because the potatoes, I'm like, I've got me one set which haven't popped up yet, but I have got them volunteer ones which I'm actually quite looking forward to see if I get a decent crop off them, because there's quite a few. You know what I mean? I think it was Grandad's allotment dug them up. Didn't do a very good job, I'll have you know. No, it's God, that would be twice as bad if I'd dug them up. So I'm interested to see what they're like, but that's me worry if it kind of gets into the tunnel or it's been in the tunnel. Do you know what I mean? So we'll see.
It's horrible, isn't it? When you start to worry about that kind of thing.
Well, I saw you rub in those leaves, and I don't really get a lot of blight because, again, we don't get that much rain. Although it's a virus, isn't it? Or fungus.
Well, fungus, I think.
Airborne, isn't it? Anyway,
yes, it's
we don't have those damp conditions. So, but I saw you rubbing it, and I remember watching someone who was like, oh my gosh, I have to essentially burn the gloves I was wearing. And I must take all my clothes off immediately, take a shower, get redressed so I can go and deal with my other plants. And you're rubbing it, and then you walk into the polytunnel, and you're looking at you. And I thought,
I've seen... Who was it?
He does it all for the views, Audrey.
Audrey, come on, man.
Off there, you know.
I get the comments, man. It's for the comments. But I remember seeing Don tackle it. And and this was going back years ago, mind you, but he almost kind of ran to his bonfire with the dreaded blight potatoes and chucked them on, you know what I mean? And then the camera zoomed in on the flames killing this, you know what I mean? So, but I did this time, if it is, I had kind of actually snapped the ends off, put them in the plastic bag. He sorted the potatoes out, and then he kept out of the polytunnel, and I did, how much do I need? You know what I mean? So we will see. But again, see, that's the double-edged sword with kind of YouTube, and it'll make a great video, but you'll lose your bloody crop of tomatoes. Have you had it, JB? Has it come through? Does it get you down there in the south, or?
I always get late blight on the tomatoes right at the end of the season.
Right.
Tomato blight feels inevitable, but it's normally way after all the harvests, so that's fine. I've been lucky with potatoes, but I do tend to go a little bit early with the spuds and then harvest them a little bit early. But I remember one year, like many years ago, my parents had potato blight, and it was so grim. It's such a gross, like we were digging out the potatoes and they were just like pustules. Do you know what I mean? Like they were like explosive liquid. They're just like foul, absolutely horrible. But it's quite dramatic blight.
No, peppers don't get blight?
I think, do you know what? There is maybe like a blight, but it's not the blight, if you know what I mean. It's quite rare.
Okay.
I think there is.
That'd be a different ball game if Pepper's got blight.
Yes,
JB'd be a little more concerned about it, I think.
It would be a very different one. Yeah, there is chili blight. I've done a quick Google, but I don't.
Because it's all the same family, so that's what made me think why Pepper should get it too. Yeah.
I don't think that tomato blight will spread to chilies, but I could be wrong. I've never experienced that. You know, quite often I've had chilies and tomatoes in the same place, and towards the end of the season, the chilies will be fine, while all the tomatoes are like, completely blighted and just curling up and turning dark.
Well, but these potatoes, these potatoes are lovely and clean. I'll be honest. Do you know what I mean? And they're only kind of like. The biggest one's a golf ball. There was Charlotte, so they've got that shape of a Charlotte potato, but the size of a golf ball. And there's probably 2 good boil-ups for a family of 4. So I'm all right, to be honest. But
nice.
I don't know if it was just this thing called brown spot that potatoes get. Or
well, your stems were fine, weren't they?
Yes. Oh, I know.
That was what I noticed. The stems looked beautiful. It was the leaves.
Travels quick as well, Blight. You know,
well, you were saying, because I haven't had JB, like the touch wood, like the end blight. So when you were saying there about your parents, did your parents not like leave it too long? So they were
they left it way too long. Right. Because I was thinking, I think they saw it had blight and they went, oh, bloody hell. The whole crop was gone. And then, it was kind of like.
Because my first really thing is like, get the potatoes up. You know what I mean? That was me kind of, when I'd seen it was it yesterday? I don't know. The days are blending into each other here. You know what I mean? So I was thinking that was my mission, was to get them away. Even if it wasn't, I didn't want to take a chance. So it'd be nice to find out if people in the chat, are going to do could do it. Get Blight. What's their outcome? Because there's nothing you can do. It's just a hideous. It's just another one with the onion white rot, fly and everything like that. Still haven't succeeded with carrots. It's just a bed of weeds.
Oh, those weeds.
I've got one line.
Those weeds, Tony, it was a blanket.
It's just like, and that's you know what it was as well, Audrey, and someone pulled us up about it, and I thought, you're too right as well. You're so right. I left me seeds for me carrots up there. I think I've got a bag down here, and I was going to sow them in the potato soil, because our sister Reed put it back into the pot, and I'll just sow in there. There'll be no seeds. I know there's no like crappy seeds in there because it's nice stuff, and just see if I can get carrots that way. Because it's just like, and I even know, Audrey, you've seen this. I covered the bed with bloody clover compost. Do you know what I mean? It's like the best of the best there, and I covered it with the bed, and still, and I cannot see one carrot flower, stem or anything. It's just a total mass of like.
I've never seen weeds like that on any of your beds, so I was shocked.
I know,
because they just don't do that.
The carrot gods just don't like me.
I need to catch up on Tony's videos. I've missed a few.
That one was. That one. I almost cried. It was sad.
And where did I see? It was on the telly as well. It was somewhere we're watching, and they were like harvesting carrots, and they're in the open, so they could get carrot root fly anytime, whatever it's called, anytime at all. And the ground was bone dry, but they were just hand picking these carrots that were just amazing. I'm thinking, how the do you do that?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? What am I doing wrong? Do you know what I mean?
Have you got other people on your allotment site that do good carrots, Tony?
That's a good point, JB. I don't talk to anybody. I'm an allotment snob. I don't know. I'll have to. I know Bill next door doesn't. I haven't seen him do carrots. So
I think it's one of those things that can be just down to your soil a lot of the time. So you'll get a localized thing. One batch of allotments will have great soil for carrots, and then the next one won't.
I did.
Don't they love just like error. They love horrible soil, don't they?
I don't know.
See, if that was the case, if that was the case, it would be. I'll be smashing it.
No, you have nice soil. That's what I mean. Maybe the soil's too rich.
Well, I did one year when you walk into my garden from where the tap is, that side. When you walk in there, the bed that actually at the moment I've got the celeriac in, I did put, I think maybe 2 bags of compost on there. I can't remember which one it was, and sowed in there. So it had quite a deep layer of compost, and they worked that time. You know what I mean? They weren't like this TV program we've seen where they were kind of pulling them out. You know what I mean? They were the size of bloody that every one, but I was going to say something really rude there. So, thank you.
Really? I was not even thinking that, Tony. How could you go there?
Yes. Moving on. So, Audrey, what's your biggest, if we've got blight over here, what's your nemesis over there?
I get a lot of powdery mildew on any kind of cucumber, squash, melons. That's kind of the big nemesis for me.
See, I would have thought that would have come with dampness as well. And why does that? How do you get that? Because I get that as well on outside cucumbers.
Well, also I crowd things probably too much. So maybe they are like little microclimates of dampness. I don't know.
Well, you see, Audrey, I've reached Zen now. Oh, I've got 4 cabbages in one bed.
I know, and every time I see it, I'm like, "What else are you putting in there, dude? That you're wasting all kinds of soil."
It's enlightening. It's another level to achieve, Audrey. I mean, that's the goal you need to set yourself. Is it's like
no. I want
even just do one.
I want no space uncovered because that just invites weeds. I want to cover the ground the way I want it covered because the weeds will come.
Yeah. Well, not with that squelch, mind you. That squelch, even.
Why don't you try to plant some carrots down the side of those cabbage?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. No, I could.
You got like a foot on each side of the cabbage.
That was my God. You've got a foot too. You could get a full field of carrots in there.
3 rows of carrots.
But that's Audrey. That would just knock. You know what I mean? That would me Zen wouldn't be perfect.
Well, just put one row in there.
Well, I did.
And put vermiculite over the top.
I know.
Yeah, just put vermiculite over the top, and then you'll always see where the row is too.
That's
which is also handy.
That's a really good tip. That just put. In fact, that's top tip.
I can see Tony's brain going too much faff.
I know. It's like I'm not doing that.
I do the same thing with so many things.
That is a good one, mind you. Do you know what I mean? Because I never thought of that, Audrey. Of just putting a line of vermiculite. Do you know what I mean? I mean, it's got to be quite a thick one because the weeds will just kind of, on my thing, overgrow it.
But at least you'll kind of see it in between the weeds, so you know kind of where to look for the carrots.
Does your carrots, Audrey, grow fine? Do you grow carrots? Not a problem.
Yeah.
See? Even that symbol. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Just rubbing it right in there.
No. Parsnips? No.
Right?
Parsnips? I don't think I have the carrot curse that you have for parsnips. So they won't germinate for me, and they do diddly outside.
Have you ever pre-germinated?
I keep telling myself, just chit them first.
Too much faff.
No, but I keep forgetting to do that. I need to write it down because I don't normally do that. So it's not like second nature. Just chit them. Because I did decide I would do that this year because Steve wasn't barking the orders for how we were going to do the parsnip challenge. And I'm like, I'm just going to put seeds in. Are you kidding me? I'll never grow one. So.
Did you join in then, Audrey, with the parsnip challenge that year?
I did, but I grew absolutely zero.
Right.
And I think I planted 2 packs of parsnip seed.
Because
I wanted to grow some parsnips. Nope.
Was it fresh? Was it fresh seed? Audrey?
It was brand new seed. I bought 2 brand new packets.
Bet you were conned. Must have been conned.
Well, and I sowed seed 3 different times, and I finally thought, I'm not going to get these out of the ground before it's frozen, so I'm done. Maybe next year.
you've got us thinking there, Audrey, because I've done parsnips as well. Every time they germinate, and and I remember doing one video actually where I was teaching. Do you know what I mean? And I had to, I'd sown them. I think about every, I don't know, 3 inches, and I even when they germinated, I thinned so there was every, say, 6 to 8, 7 inches between them, and they come up lovely, just normal size. But then last year's beauties, big man. There we go. There's me smut for the day. Big boy.
You thought they were all dead, and they were right there.
Yes, they're right there. Yeah. But why can't then? What's stopping us with the carrots? Do you know what I mean? It's just like, and I've tried the boards. Because people
in the chat now see
every video.
Are you keeping them damp enough when you're sowing them?
I've almost had a hose pipe on 24/7. Do you know what I mean?
Well, that'll keep them.
If you sow them outdoors this year, you did not have a problem keeping them wet.
Okay,
that's completely months of rain. I think that's why I've got germination this year. I've got 1 line out of 4, but 1 line is properly good. It was good seed.
And your other lines haven't come at all, GB?
There's very spotty germination. Right. So, you've got this. Out of this much, you'll have 1 or 2 seeds, which is not great.
It's to be honest, are you keeping them ones in them beds or?
Yeah, I probably need to resow them, actually. I'm going to write that on the to-do
list. Well, that's good, though, if you can resow them every, 3 weeks or so.
Mm-hmm.
Then you don't get 900 carrots at one moment.
Yeah, I need to look up and see which one the successful one was. I very much doubt I wrote that down, actually. But if I've got that anyway, that is the one I'll read.
Well, GB, and I don't know what, but remember when Jess mentioned the journal app on iPhone?
Yeah.
That's been so liberating for me.
I've seen it, look, every time this gets mentioned, we get loads of comments saying, "How do I get it on Android?" And it just isn't on Android. It's an iPhone app. So yeah,
but there must be a journal.
There's versions.
Yeah, probably.
Mm-hmm. There's one called Day One, which I've used before, but this journal one is way easier.
Mm-hmm. Mind you, someone did mention with it, which I thought, right, that's a good point there. It doesn't tell you, which would be so easy for them to do. It doesn't tell you the temperature of the day, the cloudiness. That would be nice, if it was just automatically dragged in from wherever they get their data from. It'd be nice. But...
Well, have Reed redo the program, so it does that
instead of just frying eggs on the cooker that's just been cleaned every day.
Oh, no.
Yes, well, no, he's all right. He's welcome back. He's welcome back. Actually, he's not going to do. He's because he was thinking of doing a master's down Bristol, but he's given that up. He's given that idea up. So he's off to China next week for 3-4 weeks, and then Japan with Mam for he's going for 3 weeks in Japan, and Mam's going for a week and a half, 2 weeks nearly. So I'm on my own. Yeah.
Wow.
Deliveroo.
Garden centers.
Get Deliveroo dialed in.
You need to take a stove down the allotment and do some cooking videos.
I know, that would be. I've often thought about that. My best one, what I wanted to do, but I haven't since I've thought of it. I've never had a decent potato. I wanted to take some potatoes to the local chip shop and get them to cook them.
Wow.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So if you've got that idea, JB, if you've got some nice potatoes, ask your friendly chip shop man if you could because I wanted it, because I kind of talk to him, do you know what I mean? Because I'm in there every mother chuck a day, do you know what I mean? So it would have been nice to kind of do the video from me pulling them up, handing the bag, then following that process of putting the salt and vinegar on and stepping outside. But I haven't had a decent crop of potatoes since I came up with that idea. So
you've given it away now. There'll be hundreds of them.
Yes, there'll be hundreds. Yes. I always just can have that one. Oh, anything else, Audrey? Anything going on? Anything you've noticed in your garden? Or
rabbits,
right?
A lot of rabbits right now.
Is that a new one for you, or have you always had a few?
Oh, we get the occasional rabbit, but this one has lots of little rabbits with it. So those are fun to watch. I really wish they'd go somewhere else, but they're fun to watch. Yeah, that's about the most exciting thing happening out there.
I'm gonna try.
What's worse, a rabbit or a squirrel?
Oh, squirrels can just. Yes, a squirrel is way worse.
Very good.
They're just destructive just for the fun of it.
Yeah.
You know, they do it with no purpose. At least a rabbit, I'm like, well, you're trying to feed your young. Okay, I get that. Squirrels, have you ever seen a baby squirrel? I've never seen a baby squirrel. Like, what are they, born full size? I don't know. Do they just split into two? I
always love it when Audrey goes down the squirrel route because it's just, you know what I mean? It's like for us, it's like, oh, it's a squirrel. Look it.
So feeds it, and it has a little thing where it can sit and eat corn. And I'm like, what are you doing? And she named it. You can't name a squirrel? Oh my gosh. Then it becomes like, I don't know, an actual thing that you care about. And
you do get baby squirrels, and they are adorable, apparently.
I've never seen a baby squirrel, and we have hundreds of squirrels.
Because you're standing outside with a gun every night there. That's why.
Right.
Flamethrowers.
This is what you get if you come in my yard. That's right.
See if I can show you this. This is what I've mentioned it, what's going on in my garden at the moment. This is today.
Oh, yeah.
Look at that.
Very exciting.
Oh, wow.
So,
yeah.
this was taken about 4 or 5 hours ago, and apparently they were all there yesterday as well. So normally this is the bottom of my allotment. So sometimes I'll walk along that little road talking away to the camera. When I went back 2 hours later, that whole path was crammed with twitchers. They're everywhere. They weren't in our allotment because I kind of shut the gate behind us. In the allotment, but they were in the other allotment, and they were up at the top of our fence as well. But the majority of people was here, and apparently it's a blue parrot, or there's another name for blue. I don't know what's another name for the color blue. I don't know.
Azure, maybe.
It could be an azure parrot. I don't know what.
Yeah, okay. Like that.
Have a look at JB's on the ball. But apparently there's
so these people weren't waiting for you.
Well, that's what I thought, Audrey. I did tell you I went up with a pen and I was ready, but it's just a blanked us. So I thought they were like, "Oh, it's."
You're just here for a bird.
Well, I was thinking they were.
Come on, I'm a YouTube star. You need my signature.
I was hoping they would come and help us kind of tidy my garden, but no.
I've got no idea.
Well, I think it's because they heard how you talked about the gentleman who harvested your potatoes.
Yes.
They're like, we're not helping. No, he's on his own.
Well, to be honest, I would have took a video, but I deliberately wanted just to go to the garden, do my tasks without the camera.
Yeah.
So, and then I was thinking, mind you, maybe I could just put like a little pin camera and just walk past them. You know what I mean? Because honestly, when I seen them the last time, it could be even on our local news, because that's quite a thing in Whitburn. It was almost like you'd have to go like, excuse me, can I just snip? You know what I mean? It was almost like being at the sales, Phoenix sales.
Amazing.
So, anything else before we wrap this mother chucker up there? We can mention that Jess is getting a kitchen has been started, haven't it? Because you sent some pictures where there's just no
that floor.
It's gone.
Wow. Or should I say lack of floor? That was frightening.
I mean, that's to the edges, isn't it? It was like to the edges of the kitchen.
Like, how do you even rebuild that? That was frightening.
Yeah, I think they've got to do everything under it, right? Like the joists and everything.
That looked like a job and a half.
So was it just going pear-shaped, that floor? Is that what was it? The floor that was? I'll have to ask. We'll have to ask.
I can't remember if the floor was rotting or if the underfloor was like washing away. You know, like the foundation
washing away. Right.
Yeah, I think there was like a leak issue. Right. So I don't know if the foundation was being eroded.
Well, it's like one of those old houses. A lot of the foundation was gone.
Yeah, exactly. It's one of those old ones that doesn't have like a concrete foundation. It's like ours. It's just like a earth subfloor sort of thing.
Yeah.
So if you've got a serious leak and it's all being washed away, then it can undermine. Bad.
Yeah.
Bad. Not good.
No, it scared me when I saw it.
It has started, Jen. She's over the moon that it started as well. So, yeah.
Well, sure. Can you imagine being able to walk on a floor and it feels solid?
Well, what Jess did say, she'll be able to get back in the kitchen and do videos in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Which will be lovely as well. So next week we will ask her. Well, Audrey, put the gin down for 1 minute, man, for God's sake. How weird, man. You know what I mean?
Remember, it's 3 minutes to 11 over here in the morning. I'm still on just regular fluids and coffee at this point.
I did see on YouTube the other day, on my feed, it just kind of came in. We did in the early 50s, 60s, and 70s, the comedian called Terry Thomas. Have you? Hello. Oh, have you not remember him?
I've heard of him. Yeah.
With the gap tooth and
and he had didn't his mustache curl?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Well,
yes.
And his servant comes out and says we've terrible news. We've ran out of tonic. Gin and tonic. And he's like, what? British Empire was built on gin and tonic. You know what I mean? Even it was in his accent, it was fab. There we go. Gin and tonic. Right. JB, where can we find... Sorry, Audrey, what? I
was going to say, is there anything interesting going on in your garden?
Apart from the blight, apart from the... No, I don't think so. I've got, since the puppy today, I've fed and watered, and that's it. Audrey, I'm actually... So
what you have like 4 beds that don't have anything in them. What are you going to put in them?
No, I've counted 4 and I counted wrong. Because I've got the beds that have got the leaves on as well, so there's still an extra 2 beds as well. So I'm not even going to stress about it, to be honest. I've still got the sweet corn to go in, and I've got some chard to go in. It's actually eventually germinated, and I've took it up but I've just left it outside. So if I can get them 2 brought home into the ground, that'll be great. But as farmers do, I'm leaving it fallow.
Yeah. I've got so many empty beds at the moment. Like, most of mine are still empty because everything has been so slow. So I haven't got any courgettes out. I've got no beans out.
I don't even have mine planted yet.
Well.
That's frightening.
Yeah.
Come on.
It's just been such a slow start this year.
Yeah.
So
very tricky.
Yeah. That's where, though... I just think sometimes a garden centre is your best friend. Do you know what I mean? I went to another garden centre the day after I went to the Wylam nursery. Then the day after I went to another garden centre and I picked up some climbing beans and I thought, for God's sake, £3. It's like, put them in. And actually, mind you, they don't look very healthy where they've gone in. I think snails have come there and bloody, nipped leaves off and everything like that. So whether they'll come or not, we will see. Listen, we'll have to wrap this up. We've done 18 seconds over the hour. Man, I'll have to be paying you overtime.
Yeah, free extra. Free extra.
JB, where can we find you, sir?
You can find me at NaturallyJB on YouTube and Instagram, and check out, keep your eyes peeled for a slightly different video coming from me today or tomorrow.
Right.
I'm joining a club which Tony is already a member of. Any clues there? Any clues there?
I'm a member of a club.
You'll figure it out when the video comes out.
It's obviously a field club then. It's obviously like a...
Not quite.
Oh, right. I bet people are getting it in the chat as well. Audrey.
Yes, real food.
Is it a science fiction club, JB?
No.
I've come into a good source of cardboard, let's put it that way.
There we go. Yes, I did all kind of, yes. Best thing about it, JB. Just best thing about it. There's 2 bloody waiting for us there to get. I can't be bothered now.
More e-bikes. We need more e-bikes.
More e-bikes. Mind you, me 2 bays are there's just layers of thick cardboard now, which is great. Do you know what I mean? It's a godsend, to be honest. It's, I'll be using it all the time. And it certainly... Yeah, the weeds come round the sides, but when I lifted, because I planted the beetroot, it's just rich soil, lovely. Do you know what I mean? Not a weed there.
Mm-hmm.
So, you little bugger, you little tinker. Yeah. Get a few more. Get it bloody on. Right, Audrey, where can we find you?
Real Food Comes Dirty, YouTube, Instagram.com.
And
I also have I have a video coming out today. It's going to be out before this is out on planting a David Austin rose.
Very nice.
A bare root rose.
ours are all just starting to flower, and oh my god, they're divine.
They
They smell so good.
I know this is an old rose, and it's mainly sold because of its fragrance.
Ooh,
and I'm like, you got me on that one. So yeah,
lovely.
Nice.
Tune in to both JB and Audrey. That'd be fantastic, and we'll hopefully get Jess back next week. Look after yourselves, everyone. Take good care.
Bye. Have a good week.
Bye-bye.